I spent $1,000 on this locker because I just had to have that pink scooter. Now, this one's going in my personal collection. If there's one thing sure, today, reality TV will keep you hooked. And few shows do it better than A&E's Storage Wars. Since its 2010 debut, it's delivered drama, treasure hunts, and unforgettable stars. But with fame comes a price. So, today we're diving into what happened after the cameras stopped rolling. Dan and Laura Dodson. Dan and Laura Dodson, or as they are fondly referred to as the Storage Wars resident power couple, quickly became a favorite among fans because of their classic, highly energetic presence and for their sometimes inarticulate auctioneer chatter. They were known for their charm, and the audiences couldn't help but imitate them sometimes. This was how they became the iconic duo on the show. From the very start of the show, Dan and Laura were front and center. They were right in the middle of every single storage unit bidding war. And through this, they mapped out their role on the show by showing the world their personality through playful banter and smooth rhythm. Their chemistry as a married couple made viewers fall in love with them. And to top it all off, they added a particular layer of humor and warmth to what often seemed like a tense and competitive environment of the auctions. Their aura placed them on the Storage Wars map, and soon enough they became essential figures in the show's overall success. The show ran for 14 seasons. Over that period, the Dadsons maintained their role as the lead auctioneers. They would precise over thousands of sales, many of which led to shocking discoveries and even heartbreaking losses for the bidders. Through it all, the fans loved them to their very core and relied heavily on their charisma and consistency. Slowly, without even realizing it, they had become the heart of the reality show. Even when the spotlight began to move between the different treasure hunters and personalities on the cast, Dan and Laura Dodson always remained at the top, and they also stayed consistent and constant, thereby closing the gap between the network and the buyers. After financial troubles forced A&E to put the show on hiatus, the Dadsons didn't slow down. Instead of stepping away from the business, they doubled down on their love for auctioneering. They continued auctioning off-seas lockers to bidders looking to strike it rich with unexpected treasures. They kept running live storage locker auctions across California, allowing more people to find what they so desperately desired. Their continuous work allowed the Storage Wars fans to keep living in the excitement of the show. So, where are they now? Dan and Laura run their own thriving business called American Auctioneers, a private auctioneering company that conducts public sales across California. Their careers went way beyond television cameras. Their expertise makes them highly sought after in the auction world. They also own StorageAuctions.net, which handles storage auctions in the US and Canada. Mark Bolello. Mark Bolello dominated the world of Storage Wars. He was known as Rico Suave and was known to be one of the most unique personalities ever to grace the Storage Wars show. He wasn't just another regular bargain hunter. He would walk into auctions in well-tailored suits, dapper shows, and he also moved with the confidence of a man who truly believed he could turn trash into gold. He had an energetic personality that most fans were drawn to, and he also had a knack for turning a dusty storage unit into a pile of cash. He brought unpredictability to the entire show. When many cast members might have hesitated on confident choices, Mark would always dive headfirst into bidding wars. He would push up prices with a flair that made every auction feel like a performance. He could work the crowd and knew how to negotiate a deal. Overall, he was reality TV gold. However, away from all the cameras, Mark's life was way more different from all the glitz and glam portrayed on screen. Away from the cameras, Mark's life was unraveling before his eyes. Many people close to him described him as increasingly stressed in his final months alive. He was dealing with overwhelming personal problems and legal issues which seemed to be chipping away at his magnetic personality that everyone loved. Unfortunately, the news broke on February 11, 2013. Mark Bolello was found lifeless at just 40 years old. His passing was ruled a suicide by the coroner's report, and many people were left in shock at the thought of the charming TV personality ending it all. His death sent all sorts of feelings through the Storage Wars community. Every fan of the show and every cast member struggled with the idea of what had gone wrong for Mark. They all wondered the same thing. How had the happy-go-lucky stylish Mark they knew and loved become synonymous with a tragedy like this? Today, Mark Bolello's legacy continues to live on. He is remembered for his impact on the show. However, most importantly, he reminds everyone that behind every reality TV personality is a real person with real-life struggles. The glamorous nature of television doesn't take away specific struggles, even though the bright lights of fame hide those struggles. Before he passed away, Bolello was the president and CEO of BOLO Incorporated. He also owned a gaming store, the Game Exchange, and an auction house, BOLO Auction. He quickly went from a bargain hunter to a storage treasure hunter when he started his journey. This just goes to show how much of a force to be reckoned with he was. Daryl Sheets. Daryl Sheets was one of the original stars of Storage Wars, and he gained quite a reputation with the Storage Wars fandom for going all out and winning big during auctions. His nickname, the Gambler, wasn't just a name. He had earned it fair and square thanks to his go big or go home attitude. From the first day, viewers loved him and how he would take huge risks, even when losing thousands in a single bid. He wasn't cherished only because of his risk-loving nature. He was loved for his relentless optimism. He always believed that the next locker could be won. While his time on the show was legendary to say the least, it eventually ended. After his time on the show, Sheets took a step back from fame and the limelight. He decided to go all out on a weight loss journey during this time, and he lost an impressive amount of 40 pounds using the Nutri-System method. Daryl commented on his fitness journey. "Hope is having $200 to buy a locker and a chance to change your life." He was optimistic above all else about his life, and that hope motivated him to lose weight. He also stated that life would be much sweeter when he achieved his goal. So he wanted to spread that message of hope to others. He believed that he would be happy if he could change one life at a time by helping someone get off the couch. Not only had Sheets lightened up hearts by appearing on screen, but he also had an unlimited amount of love in his heart, and he wanted to do his part by spreading positivity to those who needed it the most. Even though Daryl had lost all that weight in 2019, he unfortunately suffered a heart attack. It was at that time that Daryl announced that he was dealing with serious heart conditions. He had suffered from severe chest pains during a fishing trip, and doctors found out that he had congestive heart failure. The heart attack he suffered was so severe that he required heart surgery. Through it all, and even with the heart attack, Daryl never wavered in his attitude. He stayed optimistic and even returned to Storage Wars for a cameo here and there before the show's hiatus. Daryl fought long and hard, but he was never able to recover from his condition. At some point, he had to leave the show entirely to focus on his health and family. Unfortunately, on March 2023, Daryl passed away at home, surrounded by all the people close to his heart. Fellow cast member Jared Schultz wrote, "Daryl taught me to go for it, no matter the odds. He lived life as he be fearless." Brandon Sheets. You cannot talk about Daryl Sheets without his son, Brandon Sheets. Known to fans as the side bet, Brandon Sheets was a big part of the Storage Wars main cast for its first 8 seasons. His father wasn't just known as the Gambler. He also mentored younger buyers, including Brandon. On the show, Brandon wasn't just the son of Daryl Sheets. He was also a nice addition to the show with his personality and aura. He brought a youthful energy to the show. And the best part is that he had his father's sharp eye, but quite a different and more measured approach. Sometimes whenever his father was about to throw down thousands on a questionable locker, Brandon Sheets would act as the voice of reason to talk his father out of it. Their father-son dynamic worked perfectly for that very reason, because while Daryl went above and beyond, Brandon was a bit more tactical in his approach. Brandon Sheets left the show in 2016 after budget cuts forced production to streamline the cast lineup. After leaving the show, Brandon decided to relocate to Arizona. And following this, it seemed as though he had left the world of auctioneering behind and started a new journey as a real estate agent. Brandon focused on his latest adventures and avoided the fame he once knew. However, things weren't all that great for Sheets. People who knew him closely stated that he was struggling with personal issues, especially financial issues and health concerns. In June 2024, Brandon was involved in a ghastly car accident that he miraculously survived with only a few injuries. Despite all the adverse events, Brandon never let his departure from Storage Wars get him down. Since he moved from California to Arizona with his family, he has focused on his life as a sales agent and logistics specialist for a real estate company. If his LinkedIn profile is any indication, he is still as goofy as he was on the show. While he left the show a while back, he never stopped trying to keep entertaining his fans. In 2019, he made a series of Facebook posts in the style of MTV's Cribs, but this time it was about his middle-class suburban life. Brandon Sheets is living a completely different life now that he is away from Storage Wars. And while it isn't the same anymore, it is still just as fulfilling. Barry Weiss. Barry Weiss was one of the most unique characters on Storage Wars. He is known as the Collector and became popular among viewers and the Storage Wars fandom because of his unorthodox way of bidding. While many hunted for profit, Weiss hunted for the thrill of it. His style was quite different. He had stylish outfits, vintage cars, and even a quirky humor. He brought a unique aura to the show, and fans loved that he would buy lockers because of their resale value and the odd parts they contained. This was why he earned himself the nickname the Collector. Unfortunately, Weiss left Storage Wars in 2015 after being part of the main cast rotation for 4 seasons. After he left the show, he got his spin-off called Buried Treasure, which ran for 8 episodes and showed Barry's crossout trophy hunting exploits. After the spin-off show lost its footing, Weiss landed another spin-off, Storage Wars, Barry Strikes Back. This time he and his fellow Storage Wars star Kenny Crossley reviewed their favorite moments and shared behind-scenes footage and snippets. Unfortunately, things took quite a turn in 2019 when Barry was involved in a serious motorcycle accident. He had multiple broken bones as a result and also spent months in recovery. He went on to have a complete recovery and he even started a new job simultaneously. Things were looking up for Barry. He was now the face of Sherwood Valley Casino, which was the job he had gotten at the same time of his recovery. And despite all that had happened, he continued to thrive. The job went so well that Barry did the voiceover work for Northern California casinos. In April 2019, there were rumors that Barry had died after he was hospitalized for his motorcycle accident. Luckily for Barry fans everywhere, those rumors were far from the truth. And Barry had spent 2 months in the hospital trying to get better. Before Barry ever set foot on the set of Storage Wars, he and his brother had a wholesale produce business. Following his exit from Storage Wars, he knew he wanted to make shows connected to his love for motorcycles. Outside work, Barry is a grandfather to a little boy named Jack who keeps him occupied. Ivy Calvin. Retired footballer and MMA fighter Ivy Calvin brought his uber-competitive and high-energy personality to Storage Wars, officially joining the main cast in Season 5 after spending 2 seasons as a recurring cast member. Ivy Calvin was known as the King on the Ring, but with fans of the show, he was known as the King of Palmdale. He officially joined the show during the 3rd season before making his way into the main cast in Season 5. And that was because of the mark he made with his no-nonsense approach. He had sharp instincts and nothing could stop him from outbidding his rivals once he sensed potential profit inside a locker. Because of his background in high-contact sports, he could move around and adapt to this new world of storage auctions. With its often fast pace and high pressure level, he would use his confidence and decisiveness to make it ahead, boosting him up in many fans' high ranks. As the years went by, Calvin became a beloved cast member on the show. Many viewers loved that he was bold and could find valuable items. They also loved his competitive banter with other buyers. He wasn't like his rivals who loved the drama. He was more straightforward and knew the best path to success would be his determination and hard work. All of which paid off because he became one of the strongest buyers in the later seasons of the show. After building a name for himself in auctioneering on the show, Calvin decided it was time to move away from the world of reality TV and all the cameras. He wanted to focus on his business. Precisely what he did. He opened a thrift store in Palmdale, California called Grandma's Attic, which deals in rare antiques. While the shop was able to find its footing among the locals, Calvin made the tough decision to scale back operations. He closed down the storefront for daily business and ventured into online sales and limited weekend openings. These weekend openings were the one opportunity collectors and fans would have to check out his curated selection while giving him space away from the limelight. Even though Ivy Calvin is no longer appearing on television, he continues to maintain a strong presence within his community and the antiques world. He remains married to Wendy Calvin, and together they have 2 children named Isaiah and Ivy Jr. Renee and Casey Najota became well known for their expertise in secondhand sales when they joined the cast of Storage Wars during Season 4. From the moment they appeared, they quickly turned into fan favorites thanks to their humorous and engaging dynamic as a husband and wife team. Beyond their shared charisma, both brought distinct personalities to the table. Viewers enjoyed watching Renee showcase his encyclopedic knowledge of antiques, collectibles, and resale values, as he often took charge during auctions with a confident leadership style that audiences admired. Meanwhile, Casey balanced him out perfectly with her charm and sharp intuition, never taking unnecessary risks when it came to business decisions. Together, they formed a true power couple and became one of the most interesting partnerships on the show. Their blend of professional expertise and playful back-and-forth captivated fans, who quickly grew enamored with their chemistry. The Najotas remained part of the show's main cast until Storage Wars was placed on an indefinite hiatus in 2019. The absence of both the show and one of its strongest partnerships left a noticeable void for viewers who had come to appreciate how Renee and Casey combined entertainment with knowledge. Fortunately, the story did not end there. In 2021, when the show was revived, Renee and Casey returned to the storage auction world. Their comeback was well received, and they carried on almost as if they had never left. During the show's hiatus, Renee and Casey chose not to step away from the spotlight like some of their fellow cast members. Instead, in 2019, they embraced the attention they had gained by launching their YouTube channel, Bargain Hunters Thrift. Since then, the channel has grown to over 191,000 subscribers. Fans loved this new way of staying connected with their favorite couple, especially because it offered a more direct and unfiltered look at their personalities while Storage Wars was no longer airing. In addition to their YouTube success, Renee and Casey also opened a physical business known as Bargain Hunters Thrift Store in Poway, California. The store specialized in rare collectibles and vintage items, though it was permanently closed in 2023. Despite ongoing rumors suggesting the couple might be divorcing, they appear to still be happily married and together today. Brandy Pianti and Jared Schultz were yet another well-known power couple from Storage Wars, recognized for their magnetic personalities, intense bickering, and fearless bidding strategies. They were part of the show's main cast from the beginning and remained until season 12. Unlike the Najotas, however, this couple chose not to return when the show came out of its hiatus in 2019. Before leaving Storage Wars, Brandy and Jared received their own spin-off series titled Brandy and Jared, Married to the Job. The show ran for a limited number of episodes and highlighted the struggles they faced while balancing family life with a demanding auctioneering business. Although many fans first met them through Storage Wars in 2010, the couple originally met in 1999 when Brandy began working at a carpet cleaning company where Jared was already employed. Their 2014 spin-off documented their lives beyond the auctions. Although Brandy and Jared never legally married, they maintained a long-term relationship for many years. Even after their reality TV careers ended, both continued pursuing their passion for auctioneering. Unfortunately for fans, the revelation that they were no longer a couple was difficult to accept. The two went their separate ways after filming season 12 of Storage Wars, which premiered in November 2018. However, they kept their breakup private until season 13 aired in 2021. According to Brandy, Jared was often an absent father, and there were also incidents in which he was caught on camera by TMZ shoving her. While the full truth of what happened in their relationship may never be known, Brandy later got a tattoo that read "Free," a symbolic gesture representing her liberation from the relationship. Since the split, Pianti has moved on and is now dating Clifford Beaver. The two appear to be happy and thriving together. Following her separation from Jared, Pianti openly declared her status as a single mother. She now had to raise her and Schultz's two children independently, like she had already been doing before the split. No one knows what their relationship is like now, but Brandy seems happier than ever. Dave Hester. Dave Hester got his title on Storage Wars fair and square. He was known as the indisputable villain and became popular with the viewers for repeatedly and obnoxiously using the bizarre catchphrase, "Yope." He would loudly and repeatedly say this catchphrase at auctions. Soon enough, everyone would get frustrated at his behavior, including the cast and even viewers. Many fans hated him because he was the antagonist. Then some fans thought his bluntness and competitive nature brought a necessary evil to the show's success. For whatever reason, Dave Hester did add value to Storage Wars, primarily through its peak years. Reality TV was made for this kind of drama. Every story needed a villain. However, Hester didn't last forever on the show. His time ended after publicly pointing out how scripted the whole show was. The producers did not like this, and in the end, his loud nature got him kicked off the show as A&E handed him a pink slip. Many fans were shocked after he was booted off the show, but Hester didn't spend too much time dwelling on it. He moved on quickly and began chasing more television opportunities. He then opened an independent auctioneering and consulting business and permanently stepped away from the limelight. In interviews, he talks about how he is now semi-retired and loves spending his time being a family man. He is a father of two and relocated to Alaska, where he enjoys a quieter life with his family. While his life post-Storage Wars has been mostly silent, it is certainly not without some challenges. He has suffered from some health issues like a hemorrhagic stroke caused by high blood pressure and sleep apnea. This health scare nearly took his life, and after surviving a tedious recovery process, he re-evaluated his priorities and decided to slow his life down. Today, Dave Hester is still out of the limelight and remains far away from reality television drama. Mary Pat. Mary Pat began her journey in Storage Wars through a spin-off. She joined the cast of Storage Wars Texas, and after her stint on the spin-off show, she was brought on board the main show in season 5. She earned her nickname, the Junkster, based on her wild and carefree attitude towards finding treasures. She was not only comfortable bidding at regular auctions, but she was also the type to dive into dumpsters to find treasure. Regarding unforgettable faces from Storage Wars, few stand out more than Mary Pat Ion, affectionately nicknamed the Junkyard Queen. While the show brought her quirky personality and eye for hidden gems into the spotlight, Mary has since carved out a unique path beyond the world of television auctions. As of today, Mary Pat owns Mary's Finds, a vintage store that has become a treasure chest of eclectic discoveries. Each piece in her collection carries a story, some refurbished, some left untouched, yet all chosen with Mary's signature eye for value and beauty. Many items on her shelves were featured during her Storage Wars adventures, meaning fans could own a piece of the show's history. Her shop was not just a business. It was an extension of her passion for giving old objects new life and finding beauty where others might only see junk. But Mary's story doesn't end with business. Over the years, she's poured her energy into Ubuntu Life, a charitable organization that assists children with special needs in Kenya. Ubuntu Life is more than a charity. It's a movement that connects everyday shoppers with a greater cause. This mission deeply moved Mary, and her involvement became hands-on. She traveled to Kenya, where she spent time with locals, learned about their lives, and even collected treasures. Her adventures filled her shop with new finds and gave her a chance to give back in a way that transformed both her and those she encountered. At one point, Mary even began selling special treasures from Kenya directly on her website. True to her heart for service, 20% of every purchase went straight to Ubuntu Life, directly impacting children in need. For Mary, this wasn't just about business. It was about using her platform, fame, and passion for collecting to make a difference in the world. Unfortunately, like many small businesses, Mary's Finds faced a devastating blow during the COVID-19 pandemic. The challenges of maintaining a physical storefront proved too much, and her beloved Dallas shop had to close its doors. But Mary, ever resourceful and adaptable, refused to let this be the end of her journey. Instead, she shifted her focus to the online world. Today, Mary's Finds lives on as a digital platform, still offering fans and collectors access to her one-of-a-kind discoveries. Away from auctions and business, Mary Padian has embraced her role as a creative force online. She is highly active on social media, sharing her love for DIY projects, vintage decor, and her latest finds. Fans who first adored her quirky charm on Storage Wars now get a glimpse of her personal style, projects, and philanthropic efforts in real time. And while she is no longer a regular fixture on television, she occasionally appears at vintage markets and pop-up events where lucky fans get to meet her in person. What makes Mary so enduring is her eye for treasures and her ability to remain authentic. The Mary Padian you saw on Storage Wars, funny, adventurous, and endlessly curious, is still the Mary Padian you see today. She has simply evolved, channeling her passion for discovery into a larger mission, blending creativity, entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. Ultimately, Storage Wars was never just about dusty storage lockers or surprise jackpots. It was about the people, the cast of characters who brought energy, humor, conflict, and heart to every auction. Fans laughed with them, rooted for them, cried, and sometimes had to say goodbye when their journeys took them elsewhere. Mary Pat's story is a shining example of how those personalities extended far beyond the cameras. She may have walked away from the storage units, but she never stopped searching for treasures and using those treasures to change lives. Through it all, the show's stars continue to live their lives as they carry their fans along for the ride. There you have it. Storage Wars cast members are doing well for themselves today. Let us know which members you miss the most, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.